Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Tuesday, August the 25th. Currently in the markets, we are gapping up here. Another kind of big move in the overnight session, which seems to be the theme as of late. Or a little bit more consolidation during the New York session, and then the moves are happening in the overnight sessions. But yeah, that being said, hope you guys are doing well. There's a couple things to talk about coming into market open. We do have NVIDIA earnings tomorrow, which is going to be key. Plus, we have a couple other red folder news events. Before we hop into the charts, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. What's up, Kanjima? Hopefully, I pronounced that right. What's up, Carl, Cody? Good morning. I know it's afternoon in Dubai. What's up, everyone? Gerald. What's up, Lamit, Wallace? Good morning, Knight, Juan, Kelvin. I think I answered this question yesterday, but in terms of the risk reward, no, it's based off key technical levels. So it's not a fixed risk reward. A lot of times I'll mention in like a YouTube video, it's just fixed risk reward. But when I'm actually trading, I'll base it off of key technical levels. Good morning, Sina, J10, Nate. Good morning, Andy, Z Norris. Good morning, Mani. What's up, JP, Robert, Juan, Gustav, good morning, Bobby, what's up, everyone, Daniela, Big, what's up, Joe, what's up, everyone, Ashley, yeah, good morning, everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Let me pull up the economic calendar here and we will get started. So as you can see here, at least coming into market open here, there is a couple things to keep an eye out for. Consumer confidence today, that is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we have the core PC price index along with the prelim GDP. And then on a Thursday, we do have the unemployment claims plus the Jackson Hole Symposium that's going to start on Thursday and that's going to run until Saturday. And then on Friday, we also have Fed chair speaking as well. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So these are the red folder news events, at least coming to market open. Not really expecting the consumer confidence to affect the market as much coming to market open, but we'll see how that impacts the market today. That is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As for the main things, we talked about this. It's going to be NVIDIA. This is really the only thing that does matter. This is going to be on Wednesday after close. Pretty big. NVIDIA has been down 7 days in a row. The most it's down, I think, in history. So we'll keep an eye out on NVIDIA. It is pulling back into a key technical level here as well. It actually did break underneath a key level of support yesterday. So we'll take a look at NVIDIA coming into earnings here. Of course, other ones to keep an eye out for, MRVL. That's another big one. We have Iron. And then we have AFRM. So those are the big ones that we have this week. But of course, we'll keep an eye out on NVIDIA. That is going to be tomorrow. So with that being said, let's hop straight into the charts. Let me get rid of this. And we'll start off here on the major indices and then make our way down into a couple of the tech names. Let me grab some water here before I get started. Let me read some questions as well. Okay, with that being said, good morning. I applied for IBKR. Which platform do you recommend, the desktop or the Trader Workstation? I personally use the Trader Workstation, but it is a little bit outdated. If I was first starting, I'd probably get familiar with the desktop version just because it's a little bit newer and there's probably better features. I'm just used to the old version, so that's what I've been used to. All right, let's take a look at the SPY here. We can take a look at the hourly time frame. That's key. If you zoom out just a little bit, you can see we've been pulling back off our all-time highs. Let's actually start off on the daily time frame. So let's go into the daily chart. As you can see here for the SPY, we're kind of coming back into that previous all-time highs general area after this nice push higher. We're coming back into that 760. We also have this mini daily gap here as well. Currently, we are holding that double bottom on the hourly time frame. So if we're looking at the SPY yesterday, you can see we're building up lower highs here, and we weren't able to break underneath our key technical level support. So price came down into that 762, and buyers, as you can see, stepping in. And now we're seeing a little bit of bullish price action here in the pre-market. The key technical levels that we have coming into today is going to be our 768. As you can see, we have multiple touches here. If you zoom out just a little bit, if you go into the hourly time frame, you can see we just have this level marked out, level of support, turn into resistance, couple of rejections last week, push towards the downside. Now we're coming back up into that 768. So you can see another touch here coming into today. So we could very much well reject. If we come up into that 768, reject off this area, then we're going to see a move right back down into that previous day close, which is all the way back down into that 764. If we do want to see upside, I would like to see a hold above our previous day highs, or sorry, the hold above this 768 for continuation towards the upside. As you know, a lot of it as of recent has been these big moves in the overnight session, and then we just come back and kind of reverse back into that previous day close. So I would be a little bit cautious of that potential rejection here off that 768 coming into market open. If you look at the ES, similar thesis that we have marked out on the hourly time frame, key technical areas, we can just mark out this general area, which is going to be that high that we created here on Friday. If we do want to see some upside in the markets, this is a higher time frame key level here as well. If we zoom out, what I have marked out is this 7720. You can see previous level of support, bounced here, another bounce once we broke underneath. Now you can see we're using this area as resistance back towards the downside. So for the ES coming into market open here today, key technical levels that we have marked out is going to be that Friday's highs. 77.15 along with this 77.20 area. If we reject, we're going to push right back down into that previous day close, which is that 76.80. If we do want to see some upside here, I would like it above our now pre-market highs and a hold above this level for continuation towards the upside. So the SPY key level today, same thing as the ES, is going to be this Friday's highs, 768 here on the SPY. Let's take a look at the QQQ. So the Qs yesterday, we did come back down into that gap fill here on the daily time frame. We didn't quite fill that full daily gap. We did end up filling 80% of the gap. You can see we are bouncing here currently in the pre-market, but we came down, pushed towards that daily gap, kind of bounced right before that daily gap, which was that 701.50s. And now you can see we are reclaiming back above a key technical level. So for the Qs, you can see a couple touches here, right? This is your Friday's lows. Yesterday rejected right off the bat, came up, another rejection once again, and now in the pre-market broke above, and now we're continuing to push back towards the upside. So the key technical levels here on these Qs is going to be the 716 along with the 710. So coming into market open here, if we do want to see some upside, there's really two scenarios. Either the break above our 716, hold above that 716 for continuation, or now it's going to be the retracement back down into that previous day highs, and we're going to keep an eye on that previous day high retest for continuation back towards the upside. So with us being in between that 716 along with that 710, there's two scenarios that we're going to keep an eye out for on the QQQ coming into market open. If we take a look at the QQQ coming into today, one of the main key technical levels that we can have marked out, we're just going to mark out that previous day highs along with that 29,200. This is really the main level that we have marked out today, which happens to be that previous day highs along with that Friday's lows. If we do want to see continuation, I would just like to see them maintain above our previous day highs hold for a pushback towards the upside. Based off the higher time frames, you can see we kind of broke underneath. Now we're reclaiming back above. Let's see if we can use this as a flip for a push back towards the upside. So the main level here on the Qs is going to be that 710. Let's take a look at the SMH here. SMH a little bit weaker, but currently gapping up here in the pre-market. So the semiconductors have been weaker as of recent. Lower highs were being built. Yesterday, we had some more weakness underneath this 560. Currently, as you can see, we're gapping right back up into that 556. So you can see multiple touches. Friday, yesterday, broke underneath the rejection right off the bat. Currently, this morning, we are gapping up here and we're above our previous day highs. So we're above our previous day highs coming into today. We just like to see it maintain above our previous day highs if you want to see a flip back towards the upside. If we get back underneath our 556, then we can see a rejection for a potential move back down into that gap fill. So we're not technically out of the clear as of yet for downside, right? Lower highs are still potentially valid here on the hourly time frame if we get back underneath. But if we can maintain above our 556, potentially we can start building up this head and shoulders, right? This inverse head and shoulders here on the higher time frames. Same thing as the QQQ. Right now, we're reclaiming back above that 710. If we can now maintain above our previous day highs, then we can start building this inverse head and shoulders as long as you can maintain above our 710 for continuation towards the upside. So that's what we have for the SMH along with the Qs and the SPY coming into market open. If we do take a look at the IWM, you can see buyers are stepping in off our key level of support, which happens to be that 298. Now what I'd like to see is the break back above our previous day highs. You can see touch here, another touch here. If we can break above our previous day highs hold, then we can be looking for a trade scenario for a pushback towards the upside with a risk underneath, looking for a push up into that 301 along with that 302. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at some tech names that we have coming into market open here. We'll start off on Tesla, and then we'll make our way on some other tickers. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you would like me to go over here now, you guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. Alrighty. Okay, let's see the chat. Jack, here they go. Thank you so much for the price action guide that you posted on Sunday. It helped me so much. Glad you enjoyed it. Good morning. What's up, everyone? Please, Jack, which psychological number you and Tony always call? How can I notice them? Psychological numbers are more so, let's say, for example, we're taking a look at Tesla. If there's no other levels to base it off of, you can see right now we have a major daily gap, plus it's our 370. So this is technically a key psych level. You can see touch here, touch here, touch here. Also lines up with that 370. You can see we're kind of getting a little bit of rejection before that 370. But yesterday, Tesla did pull back. So let's take a look at Tesla here based on the higher time frame charts. Right now, you can see if we're looking at this from an hourly perspective, we're just coming back into that retest level. So breakout, flat top on Friday, came back down yesterday. Now let's see if we can use this level of resistance, touch here, breakout on Friday, coming back to retest. Let's see if we can get that push back towards the upside here on Tesla. So we'll keep an eye out on our 350 for a pushback towards the upside. We have a couple of key technical levels. We have that 345, plus we also have that 350. So coming into market open here today, we'll keep an eye out on that previous day lows. If we do want to see a pushback towards the upside, right, maintain above that 350, hold above that 350 for continuation back towards the upside. Another possible scenario is now going to be the bounce off our 346 for a pushback towards the upside. So we're just looking for our previous day low bounce for a continued pushback towards the upside here on Tesla. So those are the levels that we have marked out today. If we do want to see downside, I would only be interested in downside on Tesla underneath that 350 along with underneath that previous day lows. Then I'll be a little bit more interested in push towards the downside here. Let's take a look at AMD. AMD yesterday, we did break underneath that earnings low, but you can see currently we are reclaiming back above. So now let's keep an eye out for AMD, break underneath, reclaim, and a reversal back towards the upside. So key level 460, we did break underneath, we rejected it, but now we're reclaiming back above. Let's see if we can reverse back towards the upside here on AMD. You can see level of support yesterday, broke underneath, rejected, but this morning we are gapping up. So this is a good sign of whoever was short yesterday, this is going to turn into a fake out. So now we just want to see that reversal back towards the upside. Key technical levels that we have marked out this morning is going to be our previous day highs. Let's just keep an eye out on that previous day high retest here on AMD. Hold for a push back towards the upside. 478 is in play today on AMD. A few other tickers we'll take a look at here. NVIDIA, this one is definitely a little bit weaker coming into earnings. NVIDIA has had 6 red days in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the longest red day streak, if I'm not mistaken. Now we're coming back, and we did break underneath our level of support here as well, plus this daily gap. So we have multiple touches here. You can see yesterday we did break underneath with a pretty weak candle closure here on NVIDIA here on the higher time frames. Now moving forward, the key technical levels that I have is going to be that 213. So this is the level moving forward. This is also our pre-market lows from yesterday. If you want to maintain some downside here in the markets, underneath that 313 continuation, underneath now that pre-market lows, you can see a push down into that previous day lows here, 209. Only way I'm interested in upside here on NVIDIA is the reclaim at a minimum above that 213. Base above that 213, we can see a push back up in towards that 215. But NVIDIA is definitely a little bit weaker here. It does have earnings on Wednesday, so most likely you're just going to be waiting for earnings. Any trades beforehand most likely is going to be a little bit choppier, and I'm not expecting too much opportunity pre-earnings here on NVIDIA. As for Apple, if we take a look at the daily time frame, we're just kind of back inside of this earnings high and low. So the key technical levels that we still have marked out is going to be that 320. If we can break back above that 320, we can see that push back towards the upside. Currently, we're kind of just in between this range that we have marked out. So we're just going to be waiting for that 320 break here on Apple for a pushback towards the upside. Key technical levels that we have marked out, 314. We also have our 312. Flip back above, continuation towards the upside. Above that 315, a potential pushback towards the upside here as well. But with Apple, we're a little bit weaker here currently underneath our previous day lows. We can see a potential rejection and a push down into that 309 along with that 308. As we take a look at Google, so Google and a couple other names bounced yesterday. You can see a couple names were green. We had Apple, Google, Microsoft, Meta showed a little bit of strength here as well. We are in a very key spot. So Google, we did come back down to fill this daily gap on the higher time frames. Now you can see some buyers are stepping in. We did also close back above our previous candle high. So this is our first sign of buyers stepping in. We did close back above our previous candle high. So now for Google, let's see if we can get that continued pushback towards the upside. So we did close above our previous day high yesterday. Now the key levels that we have marked out is going to be that 348. Once we're able to break above, came back down, retested. Now we like to see continuation. It's going to be above our 348 previous day highs for a pushback towards the upside. So key levels here today, previous day highs on Google, maintain above our previous day highs, hold, continuation up into that 350 and above here. So let's keep an eye out on Google for continuation here today. As for Microsoft, this one was green yesterday. We did push up into that 490, a little bit of rejection here. You can see previous level of support turned into resistance. Another little rejection yesterday as well. And now we're currently back inside of this range that we have created. So for Microsoft, if we do want to see continuation towards the upside, we would like it above our 485 hold for a push up into this 490 and above. As for Meta, the key technical levels that we have marked out here is going to be that 552. The break above that 552, you can see continuation towards the upside. The key levels that we have marked out on Meta, let's just get rid of a couple levels here. We have that daily gap back towards the upside. So we can mark out our previous day highs. Key levels here on Meta coming into market open is going to be that previous day highs. Currently, you can see we are seeing some buyers in the pre-market. We're above our previous day highs here as well. Now what I like to see is maintain above our previous day highs, hold for a pushback towards the upside. So if we can break above this 560, we can see this continue pushback towards the upside here on Meta. As for Amazon, the key technical levels that we have marked out is this 262. If we can get above our 262 hold, then we can see this push back up into that 265 here on the higher time frames. As for Netflix, this one kind of consolidating here still. We want to wait for that break above our previous day highs. Yesterday, we did come back for that retest of that 79. Now what I like to see is this kind of downtrend break above that previous day highs, hold for a pushback towards the upside here for continuation. So that's what we have coming into today here for Netflix. SpaceX, I do like this one quite a bit here as well. Let's keep an eye out on the break back above this 138. You can see buyers are stepping in so far above that 130. If we can flip back above that 138, we can see this flip for a pushback up into that 138 and above. If we can maintain above that 138, we can see that continuation back towards the upside. So key technical levels that we have marked out, 138, multiple touches, touch here, touch here, touch here. If we can break above, hold, we can see that push up into that 340. So that's what we have coming into market open on a couple of these tech names coming into today. With the markets gapping up here, you can see there's a couple names that we're going to be looking for, primarily some of the semiconductors, AMD. We have a few other semis that we're going to take a look at here as well, like MU and some memory names. With that being said, as I mentioned, if you guys do have any charts or any tickers, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. Okay, are your contracts adjusted on and off? The contracts adjusted on and off are going to matter more so on the higher time frames, right? If you're looking at intraday price action, if you have the contracts adjusted, if you're taking a look at the futures, you'll be able to see them a lot more clear. If you're taking a look at the major indices themselves, it's going to be contracts adjusted for dividends. This really only matters if you're on the higher time frames. If you're talking with the lower time frames, the levels are going to be the same. It only affects it if you're on the daily chart, primarily on the higher time frames. Okay, let's take a look at some names here. We'll take a look at Palantir. Palantir yesterday, we did have a little bit of rejection kind of off that 180. So this was the higher time frame key level that we talked about. Rejection here, kind of right back down into the middle of the range. So not that interested in Palantir unless it can break above this 180. We're going to be a little bit cautious until we can break above that. Besides that, we're going to be more patient, right? Higher time frame key level that we have marked out, 180. If we can break above this, we can see some continuation. If we can't break above it, we're just going to be more patient. Let's take a look at MU here. So MU yesterday, we did break below this 920 right off the bat. Currently, we are reclaiming it back above here in the pre-market. So coming into today here for MU, what I would like to see is now the reaction here off our previous day highs. If we can break above, hold above that previous day highs, we can see a potential push back up into this gap fill that we have created here over the weekend, which is that 960. So for MU, break above that gap, hold, continuation towards the upside. If we reject, then we're going to see a push right back down into this gap fill that we have created. So we'll keep it on that 930. That's going to be the key level for MU. You can see how many touches we've had off this general area here as well. So 930 is going to be key. If we take a look at SNDK, this one came actually all the way back down into that earnings high. So for SNDK, this one had a little bit of a bigger retracement back down into that earnings high. You can see some buyers stepping in here for 1400. Now the key level that we have marked out really is going to be that high that we created from, or sorry, the low that we created from last week, which is our Friday's lows plus multiple touches here, as you can see. And now you can see a little bit of a touch in the pre-market as well. So for SNDK coming into market open, I would like to see one of two things: break above our 1560 hold, continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario, bounce here off our previous day highs for a pushback towards the upside. So that's what we have for longs. If you are interested in shorts, potential pop and fade right off the bat for a push back down into that previous day highs is also in play here as well. For INTC, you can see buyers stepped in the pre-market. We had some news really getting a bid really based off the Nancy Pelosi buy that we had. So you can see some buyers are stepping in on the pre-market. For INTC, I do like this one quite a bit right off that previous kind of gap fill that we have created. So if we're looking at this one on the higher time frame wise, just mark out that 80. This is the gap that we have created with earnings. Came all the way back down into that daily gap, bounce, another bounce here now as well. This is a really solid area for INTC for a move back towards the upside. So if you're interested in potential like swing, I like INTC for a bounce play to create this kind of W-shaped recovery here on INTC, double bottom here as well for a pushback higher. So let's keep an eye on INTC. It is in a downtrend here on the hourly, but on the daily time frame, coming back into a higher time frame level of resistance. Main levels that we have marked out today is going to be that 90 key psych. You can see touch here, touch on Friday. We did gap down yesterday and push lower. Today we did gap up. So if we want to maintain a bullish stance on INTC coming to market open, maintain above that 90 for a push towards the upside. If we break underneath, then we can see a potential flip back down into that previous day highs along with that previous day close, which will be that 87.50 here on the higher time frame. So that's what we have on INTC coming into market open here. As for WDC, back into a higher time frame level of support. I do like WDC quite a bit here as well. Key levels that we just have marked out 400. I would like to see now some more buyers step in. This is that earnings low for a reversal back towards the upside. Some other tickers, Marvel does have earnings on Thursday after close. Some buyers are stepping in above our previous day highs. Let's keep an eye out on MRVL above that 230 for a hold for a continuation back up into that 240 and above. As for a few other tickers, MBIS, nice bounce here in the pre-market. If you look at this on the hourly time frame, I'd like to see it back above that 230 for a flip back towards the upside. A few other tickers that we'll take a look at here, MSTR. MSTR here basing above that 120 on the higher time frames. We did have a little bit of rejection off that 128 yesterday. For MSTR, the main levels that I have on the higher time frames is just going to be this level right here, right? 118. As long as you can maintain above that 118, continuation towards the upside, above our previous day highs, continuation here as well. BE, this one having a nice bounce in the pre-market, similar thing. This one, Nancy Pelosi, some news in the after hours. We're getting some buyers stepping in here off that 180. You can see we're kind of coming right back into a key technical level support. Let's keep an eye on a mean reversion back towards our 240 and above. Key levels that we have marked out today is going to be that previous day highs. This is the main levels that we can have marked out. Or sorry, that 208, you can see how many touches we have. As long as you maintain above that previous day highs, you can see this flip for a push back towards the upside. Coin, another one that had a nice push yesterday. A little bit of sellers that did step in off that previous day highs So you can see a little bit of rejection here off that 190. As for coin, I would like to see this level hold now, which is that 176. Maintain above that 176 hold for a push back up into that 180 and above. So keep an eye out on coin. Levels that we have marked out is going to be that previous day lows. If we can maintain above that previous day lows continuation, or now the bounce play here off that 175 for a pushback towards the upside here on coin. So that's some of the names that we have coming into market open. As for Hood, this one, a little bit of a pullback down into that key level of support. Let's keep an eye on this bounce play here on Hood off our previous day lows for continuation back towards the upside. CRWV, this one right back down into that earnings low. So key level that we have marked out is that 84. This is the original area that we bounced from. You can see buyers are stepping in here. Let's keep an eye on this bounce for a pushback towards the upside on CRWV. But as for my main watches, let's go over some of the key levels that we have coming into today. So as I mentioned, the Q's key level is going to be that 715, and we're above our previous day highs. But if we reject off of 715, we're just going to come right back towards the downside. As of late, you can see a lot of the moves have been happening in the overnight session. So you can see gaps in the overnight session, another gap in the overnight session. Usually that does mean it's going to be a little bit of a trickier New York Open. So I'm going to be a lot more patient in between these levels. I'm going to be more patient here on the Qs. SPY, right now you can see we are getting a little bit of rejection here off that higher time frame key level. So we could be looking for this potential rejection off that 768 for a push down into that previous day highs. SMH, we're right into a key technical level here as well. What are some of my main watches coming into today? Let's keep an eye out on AMD above our previous day highs for potential flip back towards the upside. Nvidia probably going to be a little bit more hands off just because it does have earnings on Wednesday. As for Tesla, open to playing both sides on this one. If we do get underneath that previous day lows and kind of reject off this 350, open to playing some downside here on Tesla. If we reclaim, we can be looking for a mean reversion bounce towards the upside. Some other tickers, as you can see, more so in between the middle of the range. I do like Google here today. Let's keep an eye out on Google above our previous day highs for continuation towards the upside. Other names that I do like here, Meta above our previous day highs here as well for a continued push towards the upside. Other names, Amazon, if we can get back above that 263 and hold, we can see continuation. Netflix, I'd like to see it above our previous day highs at a minimum. I do like SpaceX. Let's keep an eye on SpaceX, break and retest above that 138 here today for continuation towards the upside. So those are the names that I like. And then I like a couple semiconductors. Open to playing both sides on this one. MU flip back towards the upside above our previous day highs. If we do reject, then we can be looking for a trade back down into that previous day close. So MU, SNDK, INTC, both interested in playing both sides here in the markets. The last week and a half have been a little bit more difficult in the markets in terms of higher time frame direction. So we're really just going to base it off of intraday price action and keep an eye out on the reaction that we have off key levels. Don't have a bias coming into market open. Just wait for the reaction that we do have. And of course, wait for the relative strength and weakness intraday, extreme relative strength and weakness on the overall markets. I'm going to be a little bit more patient just because the overall markets is kind of inside of a range. So with that being said, I'm going to be a lot more patient. But yeah, let's see that we have here. Let's MU down 900 is a potential down to 900 if the SPY and Qs. Yeah, if the SPY and Qs, let's say if we do get that rejection here off that 715, MU is gapping up, but if we do reject, get underneath that previous day lows, we can see a push right back down into that previous day close, which will be that 910 and below. What do you think as a new beginner to focus on the most? Risk management or risk management is the most important no matter what, right? You can have the best strategy, but if you don't have proper risk management, that your strategy isn't going to matter. Why do the markets heat up in the fall? So historically, during the summertime, right, the markets are slower. So right now, during that July-August period, usually August is historically bearish month. And that's just kind of normal, right? Everyone's away during the summer months. There's not really too much going on, not too many news events that we have. And then once the markets start heating up during like end of August, starting September, seasonality wise, that's usually when the markets start to pick up. So yeah, with that being said, that's going to be it for me today, at least for my main watches. As I mentioned, Google will keep an eye on previous day highs, Meta, Amazon. Those are some names that are above our previous day highs coming into today. SPY and Qs also above our previous day highs. So we'll just keep an eye on that previous day high reaction coming into market open. And then we'll keep an eye on SpaceX along with a couple other semis coming into today. As I mentioned, just be a little bit more patient. That's kind of been the theme the past week and a half. A little bit more of a defensive market. So we'll be a little bit more patient. We'll wait for the markets to heat up until we have some higher time frame thesis and some relative strength. We're just going to be a little bit more patient. So yeah, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.